What's up, guys? This is going to be a very important video. Every video I do is very important because I tackle the very important topics. I'm not going to say I'm a very important guy because then that would be, kind of full of myself to say so. But today we're going to talk about how to become a better speaker. So I think speaking is one of the most important things, one of the most important skills that you're ever going to need, that you're ever going to be able to have. I don't know anything more important than communication skills. Maybe mindset, but I don't even know if you could really, there's a lot that goes into that. So that's kind of hard to quantify. But as far as skill set, communication skills has to be like one of the best things that you could have. For instance, I'll give you a couple of examples of how communication skills can just completely change your life. If you've mastered communication skills, if you really mastered it, you could get any sales job and you could be the top salesman in any sales job and earn six figures a year. Selling cars, selling solar, selling pest control, selling Wi-Fi, selling internet, it doesn't matter. Any you could sell your own stuff. You could sell shoes. You could go buy shoes and then sell them. But if you're a great salesman, because you have great communication skills, you can talk to people, you can make people like you, you can make people believe what you think is true, you can influence people, you can change people's minds, you can get people to do what you want them to do with communication. This is just, it's a cheat code. It's a cheat code and it's very deep. There's a lot of layers to it. There's a lot of nuance. It's very complex, but it's also just like any other skill. With practice, when you really break it down, it is hard, but it's also kind of simple. Now, I know I may have lost like 90% of the viewers here with that, but there's a lot of steps. There's a lot of things you got to do. It's hard. It's treacherous. It isn't. It's gonna feel kind of uncomfortable, but at the end of the day, it's simple. It's just repetition. It's repetition. The nuance is like also endless, but there is unlimited nuance when it comes to communication. This could be the right thing to say now, and then tomorrow this thing could not be the right thing to say. Like there could be better things to say in every second. So you can't get too deep into it, but at the same time, the skill needs to be sharpened. The ability needs to be unlocked before you even worry about that. So we're not even going to get into that, but yeah, off the bat, number one, you could be rich. You could, from sales, you can be, six figures. You can do $1 million in sales. I know people personally that I've worked with in sales that have made millions of dollars from sales. From selling solar panels, closing solar panel deals, and got millions of dollars. So it's definitely possible. And of course, their communication skills were just incredible. Incredible. Of course, they've been working on it for a year or years. And you're in life anyways. You're living life anyway. You got a voice anyway. You have to talk to people anyway. You got to communicate anyways. So if you were able to communicate effectively in such a charismatic, effective, beneficial way, you would have no choice but then just to like be in an advantageous position, but just to like better your position and benefit yourself every time you open your mouth. It would just be inevitable. Like, who has the best communication skills that I've seen? you know, probably like comedians like Richard Pryor's. I mean, nobody probably knows Richard Pryor watching this, but like I don't know Brad Pitt or I mean he's just a handsome guy. I don't know if he really has communication skills. Let's just say Chris Rock. Chris Rock is funny. I always use Chris Rock too. Chris Rock. Let's say Chris Rock goes to the diner. How good of a time do you think he's gonna have at the diner? He's gonna have a blast. He's Chris Rock. He's funny. He can make everybody laugh. He can get in a deep conversation with everybody. He can talk. He's intelligent. He can make everybody like him. He can make every position favorable for him. You know, he's great at communicating. That's what he does. So this skill just, you know, that's one way. Number two, um, you can you can talk yourself out of bad positions. So let's say that you're homeless, right? You can't pay rent, you're homeless. If you have good communication skills, I mean, you could just talk to a girl and, you know, she could just, you can fall, she's going to fall in love with you. You got great communication skills and you could just live with her. I've seen people do it all the time. All the time. They're homeless. They got nowhere to go. And all of a sudden they're living with their girl. And it's like not even their girl. It's just like one of their girls. And they got free shelter. They got free Wi-Fi. She's cooking for them. They're getting free food. And it's all because, of course, communication skills is a huge part, but there's other reasons. You're charming, or that's communication skills. But yeah, brave, courageous, other stuff maybe, charismatic. But it all comes down to social skills. So they've just created an opportunity for themselves where they're getting free housing, they're getting free food, they're getting free this. Yeah, you could just go on TikTok. You have great communication skills. You could go on TikTok and just start talking. Make a video of you just talking every day. And then you're just gonna get a fan base and you're just gonna start getting monetized and they're just gonna start paying you for talking. Right? So you're gonna get status, people are gonna know who you are, you got a blue check. Now you're doing brand deals, you're doing Blue Chew ads, all from talking. You could just go to the bar and just get up on stage and start talking. You don't even really have to be funny. You don't even have to really be a comedian. As long as you have the skill of talking, people are just gonna listen to you. They're just gonna listen. You know, I mean, Barack Obama could. Not saying he's a great president. I don't think he was, but he could get up on stage and just start talking. Being an unknown guy. Say he put a paper bag over his head and just started talking. Well, his voice would give it away, but say he just started talking. I mean, he's charismatic. He's a great speaker. He's a great communicator. People are going to be like, oh, nice. It's going to strike a chord in them. It's like a feeling. When you're communicating at a high level, it's like you're hitting a chord with somebody. You're just striking that thing. And they have no choice but to treat you in a better way. They have no choice but to treat you in a favorable manner. It's just like, that's just how we're wired biologically. So, I mean, communication skills got to be the best thing, got to be the number one thing. And to get these skills down packed, number one, like I said, repetition. So if you're working a job, what you need to do is you need to go get a sales job or you need to get a job at a restaurant talking to people as a server, bartender, whatever. Something that you're constantly talking, you're constantly in a social setting. Some people I know, you don't want to do this. You want to chill, work from home. Working from home is the worst thing a man could do. And I'm going to make a video on that. But, you know, I have friends that work from home. And I tell them, like, you're making the worst decision ever. And, you know, of course, they cope they cope with it, but it's like, how could you not see that, like, as a man, you're supposed to be like outside? You're supposed to like leave the nest. How do you not see that? And if you see that and you just decide otherwise, it's like, oh, okay, well, I'll be outside, turning, building myself up. Now, I'm not saying that like, cause you got guys like Nick Fuentes that stay at home and do shows. Maybe if you were doing that, maybe if you were really like iCarly or something, like just making a show from the house, okay, then maybe it's a little bit different because you're creating something. But I mean, guys are at home sending emails. Guys are at home sending emails in their boxers, like, getting stoked that their manager isn't seeing them like slack off and watch YouTube videos. It's like that. I know we were freed, but that's crazy. That's crazy. And yeah, but you can't work on your communication skills to the full extent when you're working from home. You're not socializing with people, you're not putting yourself in social situations, you're not talking to people. So you got to get out there. Sales jobs are great. Now you want to do that. That's going to be the basis. So no matter what, even if you don't want to work on this skill ever again, you don't want to watch another video, you don't want to do anything else. At the least, you're working on your skills 40 hours a week. At the least. So I think the job is the most important thing because you're going to have to do it all the time. At least 40 hours a week you're working on your speaking. So that's number one off the bat. Number two, you're going to, this is a part of the repetition thing too. You need to do what I'm doing right now. You're going to need to take a video of yourself. Now, you don't have to post it on YouTube. You don't have to become a YouTuber. You don't have to start a podcast. But you need to start taking videos of yourself speaking and talking and moving your hands and doing whatever it is that you were going to do. Right? Stand up like a weatherman and like just talk for 20 minutes a day. Record it for 20 minutes a day. And I mean, you might as well post it at that point. You might as well become a YouTuber. You're gonna do it every day. That's literally how I started doing this. But I mean, yeah, just do that. And then after you record it, it's gonna be hard at first because you're gonna be like, dang, I don't know what to talk about for 20 minutes. I'm not interesting. There's not an interesting thought in my head. This is so hard. How am I gonna string together 10 sentences in a row? Chat GPT, write me a script, all these things. But once you do this every single day, time and time again, you're going to start to become better and better and better and better. And then you're speaking better. But that's just the first part. In the back end, after you're done with that, you're going to watch the video through its entirety. That part's going to be hard because you're going to see how disgusting you look on camera. It's going to be cringy at first. It's going to be super cringe. You're going to be like, I'm ugly. Why am I making these weird faces? My voice sucks. All these things. And, sometimes you might even think that later on in your development as well, sometimes. But this step is the analyzation. Analyze, just the analyzation phase. Because you have to analyze your voice. You have to see how it sounds. You have to hear it. Because when you're talking, it's a different how you hear yourself talking versus how other people hear you. Scientifically, I'm sure there's a whole thing about what it's called, but I don't know. And we all know. We can all understand why that is, so I don't need to go through all that. We can just believe me and we can just move on knowing that that's the truth. And that's what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to analyze, because in any skill, you have to analyze. You have to analyze with every skill you have. Football, what do? They watch film. Basketball, they watch film. Every sport, they watch film. It's because they have to see how they're doing. The first time I watched film in football, I looked at myself. I played wide receiver. I looked at myself. I couldn't believe how disgusting my stance was. I looked like, I can't even explain. Like, I look like a grasshopper. And not even like a cool, like my grasshopper, like the student like not even a cool way, like a literal creature, like a praying mantis. Like not in a kung fu way either, like a fight style, like a cockroach. You know, like someone needed to spray Raid on me or something. And then I started running. It looked like someone did spray me. So, but I didn't realize I looked that disgusting. In my head, I looked way better. But I didn't know that until I actually saw it from, from an outside perspective, from a third eye view. And you have to, if you want to get good at a skill, you have to analyze it from a third eye view. You have to. You have to see it. And every day I was watching film, and then after I first watched film and I went on the field, I could feel how disgusting I was. I no longer felt like I was, looking like Jamar Chase. I felt like I was gross now because I could kind of know in my mind, put two and two together, like this is the disgusting thing that we're doing. The cool aura thing that we want to do. We gotta move towards that. Now we're disgusting. It's awareness. You have more awareness. So awareness is key. So you want to take videos of yourself and you want to watch it afterwards. And then if you make a video, you watch your whole video, then you make another one, you watch another one. You'll be creating and analyzing every single day. So you'll be getting so much better with your speech, so much better with how you talk. So do that. Last thing, you need to start reading books out loud. Got to start reading books out loud. This is just going to give you a better vocabulary. It's going to vocabulary is very important, because you can be like, yeah, you're a really cool guy. You're really cool and you're really funny and you make me happy. Or you could say, you're really an amazing person. Your character is flawless. Man, this is hard. And then you could be like, what is the other stuff I said? I mean, you could, when you speak with better words, I mean, it's just better. You get more respect. You have more authority because you're saying things that people, they don't know what it means, but they could probably, figure you're using it in the right way. But then again, they don't want to come off stupid, so they don't want to admit that they don't know what it means, so they just submit. It works every time. It works every time. Like if you tell someone, yeah, you're being real incredulous right now, they're not gonna know what it means. They're not gonna ask you. And then you could just continue to move the conversation forward with authority. And, most of the time they just can't call your bluff. It's like a skill you can have. But I mean, yeah, that's more in a power hungry way. I mean, vocabulary is just a good thing overall because it's just, like I said, it gets you more respect. You're saying words that, you're just saying better words. So it's nice. Also, when you're reading out loud, read good books, right? Read from good authors. You don't read idiot books. I mean, even reading an idiot book out loud is better than nothing. But you want to read from people who they were very intellectual. They could put a story together. You know, they're smart because what you're doing is you're kind of taking on the characters in the book. You're reading. You're getting their words and their like rate of speech and the way they string sentences together, and you're becoming that. So you're kind of learning these characters. You're learning this. Um, it's like you're an actor, and when you look at actors, they can speak great. They're great at speaking because they're speaking all the time. They're reading scripts. They're watching themselves on camera. They're trying to be charismatic. They're trying to be funny. They're working on these things. They're working on themselves. They are the product. You have to treat yourself as the product because nobody else is going to do that for you. Nobody else is going to record you talking at dinner and then send it to you like, yeah, I think that you could have said this right here, this joke, and it could have been funny, and you could have raised your voice at this point. And it's like, no, bro, you got to do this for yourself, or you're just going to continue to suck at talking. Either way, but put these things in practice and you're going to be straight. Peace.